Emotional intelligence helps us respond with empathy, not just information. You see, when I think about, and I'll just divert a minute here, so allow me to do this. When I think about the world of AI, I think that it's going to be a long time before we teach these instruments, these tools, empathy. It knows how to respond with information, but it will eventually, I believe, get there. But there's nothing like a human being that hears another human being, and you can feel what that human being is feeling, and then you immediately change your tone and you change your direction because you connect with them emotionally over something that's being said. That helps me respond with empathy. Believe this or not, I can hear Kelsey's voice and I can just about tell you what's going on with her. Oh my God. And she's got this meeting, she's stressed out about this, and it's like, and I say, hey, don't worry about it. What we can talk about, we can wait. What's going on? You learn that sometimes the best thing to do is put the listening ear on and don't be so quick to talk. Just kind of listen and feel the pain, if you will, or feel the experience. Or maybe help them by just listening. Internally, now this is peer-to-peer, department to department, emotional intelligence improves our team communication, our morale, our workplace trust. Like nobody wants to work with anybody that's so emotionally charged that we don't know where you're at. Like you're up on Tuesday, but you're down on Wednesday. And by the way, by Thursday and Friday, we have no idea what to say to you. And who dare talk to you on Monday, we can see your face and we know. Well, we know we all experience things, but just think about the importance now of the emotional intelligence. Now, let me define that. Emotional intelligence, being aware of my emotions. Let's make it simple. Emotional intelligence, being aware of my emotions. Next, mastering this emotional intelligence, right? Like I want to be better. My emotions have signals, and they're signals. In other words, they're not stop signs. There's signals. Like I remember I'm driving down 95 and there's a board that they have across the highway. Probably a lot of you have seen it, and they'll put the amber alerts, they'll put the traffic request, they'll tell you what's going on ahead. To me, those have become very important signals. I don't stop, but I pay attention to them because I know something ahead is going to be important to know. All too often, when emotions come in, you'll see that people will immediately stop and shut down. That's why that answer you saw before about shutting down. Well, we want to master the not shutting down. We want to master recognizing signals. People's facial expression by reading their body language and their physiology tells you a lot about their emotional intelligence. The next thing you need to understand, emotional intelligence is a learned skill. It's not a fixed trait. In other words, you didn't wake up this morning with all the emotional intelligence that you need. You learn these. These are learned behaviors. Some of you have learned tremendous things since you've been at the credit union by exposing yourself to different opportunities, by getting different knowledge, getting specific knowledge, not general, in areas where you can excel and improve. Well, emotional intelligence is no more than the same thing. It's an asset in your tool belt. It's an asset in your skill set. You see, when you manage your emotions, you manage the outcome. Now, I'm not going to imply anybody's children, but Kelsey, I got to tell you this little story. My baby, who is now 28, when she was small, if she was angry, not only did everybody in the house know it, but the dog knew it, and he ran from her. Not only did the house know it, the dog knew it, but all her friends knew it. They would call and say, is Kelly okay? She was really, really mad at school. And she had this notion, I can't imagine where she got this from, that if it didn't go her way, she didn't get it from me. She had this notion that if it didn't go her way, somebody was going to hear about it. I often think back, I allowed that behavior to happen. I had to correct that behavior, or she would have been probably an emotional wreck in our home. This was early on. And so I learned that not only do I have to manage my emotions, sometimes I have to help people that are around me manage their emotions. And sometimes it's not by chastising, but it's by asking questions. So it might sound like this. Kelsey, what's going on? And you would say, well, I'm worried about this. And I would say, well, listen now, what is it that worrying is going to do to help make this better? Let's focus on the solution, because worrying about it's not going to make it better. And sometimes you have to help people with emotions. You have to be compassionate. And then you have to have a relationship, because not everybody wants you to share when they're emotionally distraught. I know there's some emotions that when come into people's lives, it causes them to outwardly express themselves in a bad way. For example, pain, anger, hurt. These are all emotions that when they come into us, we want to transfer anger. That's why some of you have seen people that call the credit union that are angry, that all of a sudden now they want to transfer their anger to you. When the truth of the matter is they're really angry at themselves. Lastly, emotional control. I think that equals this. When there's fantastic member service and the internal leadership understands, and I'll add another component, and the people doing the job are clear on their own emotions. I think that's when we have this place of control.